So welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I want to talk a little bit further about finding compositions, how I find compositions, and that it sometimes can be a struggle. So it's not the best conditions at the moment, so I don't know if there's going to be any great images, but at least I think it's a nice area to show you a little bit more about how my thought process works. So yeah, let's head on and see if I can find some interesting compositions to talk about here. You know, sometimes I just don't get it. Just look down here. You're in a national park and you just throw your can of drink here, your garbage in the middle of nature. I just don't get it, you know. I'm just gonna take it, put it in the trash bin when I see one. But yeah, I'm sometimes a bit ashamed by my my fellow citizens. So I often get the question from people that how my thought process works when I search for my shots, and it's actually quite difficult because I just see things maybe that someone else doesn't. But to give you a couple of examples, let me show you these images that I'm seeing here from this exact position. And first of all, let me show you this tree here that I noticed. You can see this beautiful green tree here is standing in the sunlight, and it looks really nice. But the first thing I'm thinking is, hey, there are some green trees behind it, so that tree doesn't pop out of this image. And on the right side you can see there's nothing. There's a dark space without green trees behind it. So what my thought process immediately is when I notice something like this is, maybe if I continue for 10-20 meters, then that first tree comes a little bit to the right into that dark background. So let's walk a little bit further and I can show you what I mean with this shot. So I'm just looking at the tree at the moment. I think something like this. I'll put you down again. And if I look at it now, you can see that this background of the tree is dark. So this tree pops out of the image and you have these green trees on the left there. So that's actually how I look at this particular scene right here. But of course, yeah, there are plenty more shots to see. So I've switched from big white to the 40 to 150 because I noticed that the shot that I'm looking for was a little bit too close. So let me show you here the second shot that I'm looking at. So for me it's about those trees, those three green ones, and that leafless tree in the middle there. And you can see, I think I wanted something like this, but this foreground here is a bit disturbing. So what do you do when the foreground is disturbing and there is a slope going down? You just go closer, you know. If you go closer you can look over these plants in the front. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to try to show you this. So I'm not sure if this shot is going to work even, but at least we can try. You see, we can get a little bit closer here. Need to move a little bit to this side to avoid that left tree in the frame. So I am standing in a field now, which actually isn't allowed, but for the sake of this video I will take the shot. So you can see right now that that foreground is far less disturbing, and I can even, if I want to, I can even walk a little bit further to the front here to catch the shot. Let me Let me just do it. I think I can illuminate all those grasses in the foreground. So once again, let me show you now. This is going to be my shot. And you see that the foreground now is completely empty. So nothing disturbing there in this particular shot. So I'm going to take this image now. Just going to take it at f8. And I'm already imagining now in my head that right now there are no leaves on that leafless tree. But when there are leaves coming in about maybe 3-4 weeks, then I can go back here, take the same shot again. It will be far more interesting because the tree will be different. And I'm actually waiting now for a little bit of light. That's also nice to mention. If you look at the scene now, the sun is straight behind that hill, and the scene I'm photographing is on the shade side of that hill. So the sun is shining over it, illuminating those green trees and the leafless tree over there. So it might be worth waiting here until the sun is appearing again, illuminating all that from the back, so you can see all the branches from that leafless tree also. There are no leaves on it, but you can see those leaves of those branches. So just gonna wait. I think the sun is gonna pop from behind that cloud in a couple of minutes now, and then I'm going to take that shot. So yeah, when it happens, this is the result. So I noticed another shot that I wanted to explain to you, but I needed to get a little bit higher. So there's a little bit of a hill here in the bottom. I just wanted to put my foot on it. Actually, I think my toe just hit it, and then I noticed that it's an ant nest. So yeah, definitely don't want to step into that, you know, and it's straight back home, I'm afraid. So I'm just walking a little bit further up the slope of this hill to see if I can get the shot that I have in mind. I think it's going to be something like this. Let's see. No, I'm not standing on any small animals at the moment. So let me show you this shot. You see, I just noticed the shape of this green tree here, but when I'm lower, that tree comes before the trees on top there. You can see, so I went a little bit back, so a little bit up the slope of this hill here, and this way I can make the shot a little bit like this. So use that green line in the foreground to lead the eye towards that tree. Now it's not the best light at the moment, but it's a good time to tell you a little bit more about composition, about how I look at the compositions. So yeah, let's take this sorry about that, shot. So let's take this shot, and I hope you get a little bit of an understanding about what I mean here. This is the funny thing. If you look at the shot right now, I'll put it over here. You can see that there's still a lot of disturbance on the top and in front here. And I can't get closer because then that green line will be just in that disturbing background. So this is the moment when you just realize you need a different lens. So I switched to the big wide. I think a regular viewer of this channel, Henk, he calls it Gandalf. It's a nice name for such a lens actually. So I've put Gandalf on, and just let me take this shot again. Now I can zoom a little bit further. I'm trying to keep that aperture as low as possible to make that background out of focus. Let's have a look a bit like this. Yes, so let me show you the image right now. And you can see that it's all about this tree, and that green in the foreground is supporting the eye towards that tree. So a totally different composition. The light is not the best, conditions aren't the best, but this is what I'm looking for in times like this. So I'll put them side to side, and you can see what a little bit of going higher and a little bit of different lens, so zooming a little bit further, really can help finding a nice composition. I'm actually starting to get why they threw away that that can of energy drink. You know, the smell of energy drink is hanging around me, and I was wondering why all these flies kept flying around me. But of course they are attracted by the sweet smell of this energy drink. But still, just don't throw it away. Just don't throw it away. No, I'm gonna take it with me. I'm gonna throw it in the garbage can somewhere. So now I've got my mind to it to do something good. So here's another good example for finding a composition. I'm just walking past this tree, and it's a really old, gnarly tree. Beautiful branches up here, but especially here those roots. Look at where they're starting. They're actually starting to be visible from over here, and then leading all the way towards this tree. So this is the kind of tree that I immediately think to myself, this needs a ultra wide angle lens. So when you get close to those roots like this, the closer you get the better usually. You can really play around with those roots leading towards the tree, and it's actually quite nice when you can find it with a sort of a composition. So let's see if we can do that. You see, by holding the camera right here, let me try to show you. The frame gets a little bit smaller, but you can see that I'm really amplifying those roots here in my foreground, and my frame is a little bit wider, so I'm starting here, then going to that side, showing that other tree there on the left. So that's what I'm just trying to do. I'm trying to frame this up. You can also use the flip out screen here if that's easier for you. You can even get lower then, might even be nicer. So let's have a look. Sometimes you have to focus stack these shots. I'm just laying the focus here in my foreground. I see a lot of ants walking here on the ground again, so you can really see those roots going up to this really gnarly tree, and then this other tree in my background. So yeah, another good example of how I see the world. Maybe, you know, everything is a photographic opportunity, if you ask me. So you can see that after that last shot that you've seen, that ultra wide angle, I immediately put back the biggest lens on the camera that I have with me. At the moment it is this lens that I have on loan. But I always do that because when I see a bird or an animal or whatever, I don't want to switch lenses. I want to have everything ready to photograph. And a landscape, it's just easy, you know, the landscape does not run away. It will be there after you switch lenses again. But it's also a bit of a style thing, because I have a good eye for seeing small landscapes in the horizon, you know, little, I always say post stamps on the horizon that are interesting, which you need big lenses for. So I always have an eye for that, and yeah, I just like it somehow. So that's why I always put the biggest lens on first. And one thing that I want to state, I see it a lot during workshops, people carrying lots of equipment for thousands of dollars of equipment, and then they're telling me, no, I'm not risking switching my lens and getting my sensor dirty. I'm not gonna switch lenses when I'm out in the field. People, don't worry about it. Until today, I started a little bit earlier than this video. I think I've switched lenses more than 20 times. I am a professional landscape photographer. I'm out here sometimes 3-4 times a week in nature, in the most crazy conditions. And I've been doing this with digital cameras for now over 10-15 years. I have only cleaned the sensor of my camera 2 times. 2 times in 15 years, and I just switch gear all the time. Of course, you have to be careful, hold your camera down, do it quickly, practice a little bit at home how you can do it as fast as possible. But don't worry about switching lenses. What's the use of carrying all that gear, of spending all those thousands of dollars when you say, I'm not going to take that shot because I'm not going to change that lens? absolutely insane. I can't get that. So don't worry about it, just switch them. And if there is a dust spot on it, don't worry. A lot of stores in the Netherlands even do it for free, cleaning sensors, and you only see it with the apertures from f16 to f20. You can even do it yourself if you buy a cleaning kit yourself. Some companies ask 30, 40, 50 euros. Do it once a year, 50 euros for all that pleasure that you get back. And I have to be honest, the only 2 times that I cleaned my sensor, one time was when I got back from Namibia. I walked through the desert, a lot of sand came into the camera, you know, shit happens. And the other time, I think it was with my OM-1X back then, and I don't know what happened, but somehow the lens cap got off the camera in my bag, and a lot of sand from my bag came into the camera. So that's the only 2 times that I cleaned my sensor. Usually when I get back home, I got this air blowing thing that I just brush around or push around through the inside of the camera. Then all that loose stuff is gone, and I never have drops of water or things. And you can see I do a lot of foggy conditions all the time. Never a problem for me. So don't worry, just switch those lenses and make those dollars worth spending. So this is what I told you with the long lens photography that I always like to see. And I noticed another shot here. I will show up here what I'm filming at the moment. Let's have a look. Where is the tree that I saw? It's right here. So for me it's about this tree over here. So my shot is a little bit wider, but I think I kind of like this frame. And why I'm taking it in, I'm walking a little bit further. So I'm taking it more like this, so I can leave a little bit of space on the left side without the tree that you see on the top left corner right now getting into the frame. So the frame stops about here. So it's all about that small tree. So a step to the left or to the right makes a massive difference in how disturbing your background can be when searching for shots like this. So once again, there's no light or anything, but it is nice to show you the thought process, and especially when there is light. And if you are quite lucky, then sometimes only this tree here in front is in the light and the background is in the shade. Then you also have this contrast, and that's the things that I'm always looking for, you know, looking for trees that are on a sunny spot with a shady background that I can use. And for instance, on a sunset shoot, the sun will go down right over there on that side. So then the whole background will be in the shade, but the last sunlight will illuminate this beautiful tree here, creating some really nice light. So this spot is absolutely worth going back to for a sunset. So that's what I always do, you know. I walk around taking shots, but also looking at possibilities for different times. And some people might write them down, those locations. That's not really my style. I somehow have a sort of photographic memory, you know, photographer with a photographic memory. That's maybe a logical thing, but I always seem to remember those spots, and I always seem to know that when I'm out here with certain conditions, I immediately know, oh wait, I've seen a shot back there once, let's walk over there and see what I can find, and then I'll take this shot again. So this is the shot that I just took, and imagine it with the sun from behind. Absolutely epic. So while walking around, I always keep my eye out for certain strange shapes or beautiful trees for different days, you know, days with some heavy fog. For example, the tree that I'm looking at right now, just have a look. It's a really nice shape here of this tree, but the background is so disturbing. So there's definitely definitely not a shot here, and it's not on a site that you can work with, that the tree is in the light and the background is in the shade. So that's not working for this. So this is a very specific scene that demands really specific conditions, you know, heavy fog, thick fog. So remembering it, putting it in the data bank up here, and I'll be back here when conditions are right. So I'm just walking past this tree here, and once again I switched lenses. This time it's the 60mm macro. And what I noticed, and especially when it gets a little bit later on the day, so the light gets a little bit harder, I always notice that I'm starting to look for smaller and smaller subjects. So I'm walking past here and I'm just seeing this water drop here hanging on this little leaf that is developing, and it just looks pretty nice. So this is what I just try to do on days like this. You know, it always starts with big vistas, trying to find some birds. You have to be careful not to hit it, because then the water drop falls, of course. But the later it gets, or the less light there gets, I'm always looking for smaller subjects. And that's why I always bring the macro lens. You know, OM-System has a really small one. This fits in your pocket anywhere. There's no bargaining taking this along. So it's always in my bag, and when I see something interesting, I just tend to use it like I do on this leaf here. So I hope you like this video with compositional tips and tricks, how I look at the world. You know, like I said, conditions aren't the best, but it is a nice conditions to explain things without having to rush around finding those shots. So yeah, I think it was a couple of nice shots here, not spectacular or portfolio worthy, but good examples. So let me know in the comments what you think of videos like this, if you like it, if you find them helpful. Yeah, something a bit different, you know. Sometimes I do them from my studio at home, but I thought let's do something out here where I feel the most at home. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you like the video, don't forget, please push that thumbs up button, and there is a subscribe button underneath the video here, or somewhere here, not the thing popping up here, but underneath the video. If you push that and select all on the notification bell, you will get a message when I release my next video. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next video. Bye bye. So back at home, wanted to throw this thing away in the garbage bin here, but then I noticed there's even a deposit on it. So I'm even gonna get some rewards for taking this thing back home. So don't leave your trash in nature.